So I get lots of comments where people think I'm the conspiracy theorist, I'm the liar, and yet you can all do this if you have F1 TV, which is a package. You go online, you go onto the F1 TV website. It will cost you in the UK, it's £19.99 for a year's subscription. You can get access to all the footage of all the Grand Prix, and for the Grand Prix where they do the driver onboards, you can go onto each of the drivers. I'm not trying to sell their product. I hate the fraudulent enterprise. Okay, I'm just telling you that's what I do to do this. So 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Look at this. 1 hour, 28 minutes, 22 seconds. What have we got here? We're riding on board with Nicholas Latifi. Now, if I play this to you, this video will get blocked. This footage gets monitored. They've got their copyright checks. They will block the video. So I can play it, but I have to keep pausing it every few seconds so you don't get to see the true reality of the situation, or have to move the image kind of out of screen and you can hear the audio. Now I'm going to just play you through the audio and you will, well, in fact, let's have a quick look at this here. This is Latifi's display, third gear. For each of the last 5 laps, he's gone around turn 14 in 4th gear. Now, this lap, we know he's had this bit of a altercation with Schumacher and he's been pushed off track. He's got dirty tyres, less grip. If you're in a high-powered rear-wheel drive car and you drop to a low gear and floor the accelerator, what's going to happen? Oh, you're going to get wheel spin. If you're turning a corner when you do that, what's going to happen? Oh, well, that wheel spin is going to make your back end kick out and that car's going to come around on you. That's the mechanics of the way these things work. You'd think, as one of the 20 best drivers in the world, you might know that. You'd think. Anyway, let's have a look.
Copy. Copy.
Latifi's just said he pushed me off though. Copy, copy. So, here we go. This is 14. Third gear. And this is the key. Let me just move this out of screen.
You okay? You okay, mate?
Oh, sorry.
Copy. Copy.
What did you hear? Before, okay. What did you hear? You heard the engine still running, didn't you? You heard the engine of that car still going. Why is that? Well, let's have a look. I have to keep stopping this.
Copy. Copy.
Stop it there. Sorry, I can't play your continuous footage. Now, what we can't match up is his throttle inputs. So we can't tell if he purposely put on more acceleration than he would do normally. Knowing that he's in a lower gear, knowing that he's got less grip. If he's then purposefully put on more acceleration, you know you're going to kick the back end of that car out. You know what's going to happen. You know you're going to go back end into the wall. Okay, that's just a known thing for anybody that knows how to drive. Now, we can't have that telemetry at the moment. We don't have access to that. So all we can go on is utilising the evidence available to us. So it's inconclusive at this stage, but all we can do is look at the likelihood of all of these things. And they add together at the start of this lap. It had to be this lap. For the 5 laps leading up to this, then he went round this corner in 4th gear. Now, okay, he's had to take a different approach to this corner because he's been pushed off track a corner or two before, so it's changed the dynamics. But Schumacher seemed to open the door for him on the way down to turn 9. Really strange that is. Really strange. And then we get this. So let's have a look here. It's in third gear. Anti-stall. Engine running. Sorry, it's gone full screen and I want to be on that so I can zoom it.
You okay?
Are you okay? Engine, that's in neutral.
You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
Copy.
And now engine stop. Did you see Nicholas Latifi attempt to select reverse? Did you see Nicholas Latifi attempt to see if it was possible to reverse that car back and drive it back to the pits? Because we've seen that loads of times in the sport whereby a driver has a crash, has an accident, and still makes it back. Yeah? We've seen it loads of times. What's he done?
Copy. So remember, assume the car isn't safe. You have to switch off fully the car. Switch off fully the car. So give me time to confirm car is safe or unsafe. I need.
Did the race engineer say to him, "Can you make it back?" I'm not hearing
60
it.
seconds.
I'm not hearing it.
Remember,
Let's just go back through this again. So again, I want to zoom it so I can zoom the display. Anti-stall, third gear still.
Yep.
So he's then put it into neutral. So he's gone from third gear to neutral, okay? Because the anti-stall had kicked in. Obviously, he's crashed, and the car is still in third gear, having crashed. But they've got this device that keeps the engine running, okay, preventing it from stalling, being stationary in third gear, yeah? So the engine's still running. He's changed it from third gear to neutral.
you okay? You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
Copy.
And then switched it off. Then just switched it off. No attempt whatsoever to see if you could take that car back to the pits.
Copy. So remember, assume the car isn't safe.
Assume the car isn't safe. No question whatsoever whether it's possible for him to get back to the pits with it. Oh, you've had a crash. Okay, can you get back? Is it something that you can, do we just need to repair the nose cone and you're okay again? This has just happened. This has just happened. You know, you're in the heat of a moment. You're in a race. You're a multi-million-pound outfit where each race that you go in, you're trying to get something out and you're trying to get your driver to the finish of the race. He's racing. He's had a crash. Okay, what can we do now? You've had a crash. Are you able to make it back? Can we repair the car? Can we keep you going? We don't get that. We don't get that. Anti-stall. Into neutral.
You okay? You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
A little chuckle there, Latifi.
Copy. Copy. So remember, assume the car isn't safe. You have to switch off fully the car. Switch off fully the car. So give me
Safety
time to
car.
confirm car.
See that on his display here? We've got this this yellow display telling the drivers, yellow, safety car. Yeah?
Car is safe or unsafe. I need 60 seconds. Okay. Remember, when you jump off the car, switch off everything and drop fully off the car.
Copy.
Let's see how many seconds since from the point in time that the crash happens till we get the safety car. Because that's quite a quick deployment of the safety car, isn't it? I've got to say, the number of times we see something happen, and obviously initially reaction is yellow flags. Shit, something has happened. Marshals wave yellow flags, make the other drivers aware that there's a danger on track and that they need to slow for the danger. Right, race control, there's an incident. Assess what we need to do. Are we going to be able to clear this incident up using yellow flags? Will you have to use the virtual safety car to get this thing sorted, or do you have to deploy the safety car? What shall we do? Oh, that looks like we're going to need to get a crane on track. To get that out of the way, we're going to need to deploy the safety car for that. Safety car. Let's have a look how long it takes. I mean, it might be feasible, it might be entirely feasible, but I'm just saying that's the process that you have to go down. Let's look for when that display turns yellow. So, he hasn't crashed yet, he's just lost a bit of control. What are we at? 1:28:28. Okay.
You okay? You okay, mate?
What? Sorry.
Copy. Copy. So remember, assume the car isn't safe.
And we've now got the notification from race control. So 1:28:28, and by 1:28:47, 19 seconds then. That's probably feasible. That's probably feasible. So there's probably nothing to actually be too concerned about there. But that's what's happened. That's what's happened. I can show you races where they've taken a minute and a half, 2 minutes between an incident and a safety car being deployed. Okay, but they've managed it in 19 seconds here. Fine. Okay. But is the reaction of Latifi authentic? Sorry about, I sometimes get my words wrong. Is it authentic? If you're racing, if you're driving a motor racing car in a motor racing race, do you just like put it into the wall and switch the engine off? Or do you see if your car is still drivable, see if you can make it back to the pits? If you are part of a multi-million-pound operation, does the guy who's your race engineer, does he just go, no, are you all right? Okay, switch it off then. Or does he say to you, oh, can you make it back? Questions, aren't they? Now, of course, what we're going to get is the strap-on fanboy in the comment section. Always give us the justification. Yeah, you can, but yeah, you can. This is fine. Because they will never think to themselves, you know what? That doesn't seem right. And the reason that they won't is because they've got their desires. That's about 7 to 10% of people that come here, right? That's about 7 to 10% of people that have got that mindset. Most of the rest of us can look at this and go, you know what? Something's not right there. Something is not right there. Now, I will try and find a way of doing a better breakdown of that. I just wanted to put that information out to you so people could see it, all right? Because there's people that will watch that and will be able to, there will be things that spring out to them. And so as these things spring out to you, write them down. We need to get shared knowledge. If you're seeing other content creators, whether it on YouTube, whether it on any other forms of social media, please get my content to them, okay? Because we need to make these connections. People that are really concerned about this and really trying to uncover it, we need to see what we're all seeing, okay? We need to see what each other are seeing, and then we can make sure we form the full and proper picture of exactly what happened. We will get to the bottom of this. Okay, we will get to the bottom of this. I can't thank you enough, all of you who have subscribed to the channel, the long-suffering subscribers who have been here for the last year, 18 months, okay, that have stuck with this because they know what it's all about. And in the last week alone, there's been about 1,200 people subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for those of you who are sharing the content. It is so important because that, I'm sure, is what it is that has made this channel all of a sudden begin to grow. Now, it could be a false dawn. It really could. And it might be that we go through a period of time where nothing seems to be happening. But all it takes is a couple of videos to spike and to get this thing off rolling again. The momentum will build and eventually we are going to take this down. Okay, it's going to happen because the evidence is there, the truth is there, and the truth will come out. And we're going to make it come out through our collective efforts. So those of you that are doing something about it, not just clicking a thumbs up, because yes, the likes are important, the subscribers are important. So please like the videos, please subscribe to the channel, but importantly, share it so that other people see it. This is one of the biggest problems. Some of you that have only just seen the video that I did about Andrew Benson, where I'm breaking down those last 4 laps of the race, it's now on about 75,000 views. I did that over a year ago in a different way, but you've only just seen it now. Why is that? Well, that's because the information is being suppressed. It's there, but you just don't get to see it. You only get to see what the mainstream media, the BBC, Sky Sports, what they want to tell you, and what's true has to come out on social media, but unless that content gets recommended to you, you don't get to see it. And this is what we're fighting against. You know, and what they will try to do is they'll try and write us off by saying, oh, this is disinformation, these are lying, these are conspiracy theorists. Well, this is what they do. This is how they control the narrative. This is how they control how, you know, what it is that we believe. And this is how they get away with the contrivance and feeding us a lie, committing fraud and getting away with it. That's how it works. I've done loads of videos about it, exposing loads of different things. And if anybody does take the time to trawl through the videos, you'll see what I've actually put out over the course of the last, well, I think it was November, December 2022 that I took to YouTube. This is how long I've been doing this. Prior to that, I was on Facebook for the best part of a year, revealing a lot of this stuff. But obviously you can't do it unless you can evidence it with videos. Well, I wrote loads of articles. But when we talk about Latifi's crash, this is the BBC again. This is their chief, Andrew Benson. This was his article on the 12th of December, 2021. Okay? And isn't it strange that you get 13,000 comments to something? Because that's not normal. You get that if something isn't right. And when something isn't right, surely you'd have the authorities, surely you'd have the media going, oh, public are outraged about this. Something's not right. We need to do something about this. Oh, no, no. Instead, they just continue with the conditioning. All right? So we get the picture of Max Verstappen by Andrew Benson, the chief F1 writer. But this is somebody involved in the sport, an expert former driver. And he'll never say this now, because at the time you got some sort of authentic reaction. Now and again you had Johnny Herbert say, hey, this isn't right. All of a sudden, Johnny Herbert goes quiet. You don't hear that from Johnny Herbert anymore, right? Because you get shut down. You get cancelled. What sorts of threats are these guys being imposed with to make them shut up and comply with the narrative? Do you lose your job? Do you lose your ability to have that role in the media? Who knows? Who knows? But this is what David Coulthard. This is the article produced by Benson on the day. So this is in the aftermath of Abu Dhabi, when Coulthard probably hasn't been threatened to comply with the narrative. All right? And this is what Coulthard has to say. BBC. You can go and see us. Google it. I'm not making this up. Google it.
But what looked like it was going to be a fairly textbook drive from, lights out to checker flag for Lewis Hamilton was turned on its head when we had Latifi crash his car, seemingly trying to overtake himself. It was the most silliest little incident.
Latifi crashes car, seemingly trying to overtake himself. This is a professional racing driver. They know. They know.
It led to the safety car, and then, as you've just described, a sequence of events that none of us have seen before.
A sequence of events that none of us have seen before. It's not right, is it? It's not right.
And this is the interesting thing, isn't it? I guess, anyone...
And we get a talking head. Oh, yeah, let's be reasonable about this. Let's ask the questions that we all need to ask.
New to the sport, perhaps hasn't watched it before, will be baffled by the rules. Do you think there needs to be a rule change here?
Oh, the people that are new to the sport are baffled by the rules. Do you think there needs to be a rule change? No, Colin. No, they just need to explain what the rules are, and then they'll see that this thing has been fixed. It's quite simple. In motor racing, you have to consider safety. If an incident takes place which causes a safety concern in and around that circuit, you have to deal with it. Otherwise, there is a huge safety risk. You have to deal with it. This is the world we live in. Health and safety. You have to deal with health and safety in the workplace, in sport. So, what do you have at your disposal? How do you deal with it? Right, safety concern. What do? We can throw the yellow flag, which means it makes the drivers aware that there's a hazard. They have to slow down during that phase of the race, during that location. There's a hazard in this location, slow down. Okay, once you've passed that, once you've gone out of that sector, you can carry on racing. But when you're in that region of the racetrack, there's a hazard in this region, slow down. That's one option. Next option, virtual safety car. There's a hazard. We're going to need to slow every car on the track down to try to make this a safer environment whilst we deal with whatever the hazard is. All the cars maintain the gaps that are between them. The problem with doing that is if you've got to get men or marshals on track or recovery vehicles, you've still got a car passing that incident site every few seconds because they could be evenly spread out around the track. Even at a slower speed, if one suffers a blowout and that car loses control, it could career into the marshals on the track or the safety vehicle. And as we saw in the case of Jules Bianchi, a Formula One car crashing into a crane doesn't end well. So we need to do something about that. We need to think of safety consideration. Okay, safety consideration. Next option, safety car. You put that on track. You slow them cars down. The leader, it's designed so that ideally the safety car picks up the leader and all of the cars then bunch up behind that lead car. What that does, it wipes out all of the previously built up advantages. If at the stage that safety car is deployed, the leader hasn't passed anybody that's in a lower down position in that race, the back markers, hasn't started lapping people, then all that happens is the leader catches the safety car, all of the other competitors bunch behind the leader, and what you have is this snake of cars, first down to 20th, if there's still 20 remaining, okay, in this safety car snake behind the safety car. Once that has been achieved and the incident has been cleared up, then and only then can that safety car be withdrawn. That's how it works. You can't just allow the safety car to be on track for a short period of time, say, oh, the leader's caught it and second place has caught the leader. Oh, we think we're okay now, bring the safety car in. Well, you can't do that, because why have you allowed second place to catch first, but not third to catch second? So that's what that regulation is there for. It's quite easy to explain to people. When you deploy the safety car, racing is neutralised. This is what happens. We effectively have to start from scratch again, with all the remaining competitors in the right order. When lapped cars are there, you have to carry out the regulation where those cars that have been lapped are released and afforded a further lap to try to catch the back of that snake, so that it creates that condition again. The competitors are in the correct race order, ideally nose to tail, all the previously built up advantages nullified. That can generally be achieved if they are permitted that one additional lap. If they're released halfway around a lap, that and a further lap usually enables them to catch the back of the pack. The times where you don't see that happen is when cars have disadvantaged themselves by pitting late into the safety car window, or I've got examples of this. I've done the research. Okay, it's on previous videos, and I'll do it again because they don't get seen. But this is what happens. But instead, we have Colin in the studio here. Oh, do the rules need to be changed? Oh, there's confusion. Nobody can understand this. Right, with anything in life, what can counter confusion? How do you stop people from being confused? That would be education. That would be explaining things to people. You don't know how this works? Let me explain to you how this works. Can you now see how it works? Okay, nobody's confused, are they? We all understand. Instead, the media want to give us the confusion all the time.
Do you think there needs to be a rule change here? Because anyone new to the sport, perhaps hasn't watched it before, will be baffled by the rules. Do you think that?
Oh, they're baffling. The rules of Formula One, aren't they? This is scripted. This is what you hear everywhere. Oh, it was confusing. The rules and regulations were tripping over one another. All lies. All lies.
There needs to be a rule change here, because it does seem strange that Lewis Hamilton, who put in a brilliant race, a great performance, should be penalised.
Doesn't need to be a rule change. He's not penalised, he's been cheated.
Losing out on the world title in this case because of the rules that were implemented
losing out on a record-breaking 8th World Championship.
At the end of that race.
It's a highly complex sport.
Have you been on the phone to Martin Brundle? Oh, it's a highly complex technical sport. Well, yeah, those cars are highly complex and technical. And you're making data-driven decisions in terms of strategy calls. Yeah, that bit is complex. The rules as to how the competition is contested, they're pretty easy. But you're not explaining them, are you? You're trying to claim that the rules are that complex and technical that nobody can even understand the rules. Ridiculous.
Where you could argue because of the technology.
Oh, you could argue. Oh, that's what you want, isn't it? You want the argument, you want the interaction.
That's involved. It's not a pure sport where it's not just human endeavor, in its purest form against each other. You've got the performance of the car before the drive even gets in there. So there are so many rules that are constantly being clarified through the course of the season.
Really? Which rules are they? The rules as to how competition is contested, are they always being clarified and contested throughout the season? No. No, they're the technical regulations with regard to the design of the cars and teams trying to push the boundaries. They're the bits that are being clarified, David. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the basic fundamental rules as to what needs to happen when there is a safety concern within a race. Oh, the other measure that I left out was the notion of potentially you can throw a red flag, but there are circumstances where you would throw a red flag to stop the race as a result of a safety concern. They are when that track is impassable, the track's blocked so no cars can get by the incident, you red flag it. If you're concerned that the barriers are damaged and are going to take so long to repair that it's going to take so long out of that race, then you can red flag it and say it's going to take 20 minutes, half an hour to repair these barriers. So we're not going to waste all that kind of time out of the sport. That's another reason you'd red flag it. The other but in order, before you do that, you need to assess it. So you can't red flag it immediately. You don't see that happen. You see them deploy the safety car, you see them try and clear up the incident, and then you see them inspecting the barriers to see if it's okay to go racing. And if it's not, they go, oh, we actually need to do repairs here. It's going to take a period of time. Red flag it. Or the other time you'd use the red flag is if there is a human's life at risk. Okay, if there is a driver or a marshal or somebody in and around the track whereby they require urgent medical attention, you stop racing. You stop these cars going by that scene every few minutes and you focus on trying to save a human's life. You deploy the medical car there and you try to save life. And you don't want racing cars anywhere near that situation. That's when you red flag it. Abu Dhabi 2021 did not meet the criteria for a red flag. You've heard countless times, oh, they could have red flagged it and had a shootout. That would have been fair. No, that didn't fit the criteria. You would have been artificially creating that had you have done that. That was the right situation to deploy a safety car. However, you couldn't carry out the requirements of the safety car in time. Hence, it's a safety car finish. That's how it is. You cannot then freestyle things just to create excitement. That's what they did. The thing is, ahead of doing it, they were telling you what they were going to do. And then they claimed, oh, now the race director's made an error. And he's created that. Well, that's a contrivance. Why did you know before he did it that he was going to do it? And then pretend that you didn't know he was going to do it? Because that's what you've actually done. You've primed the audience to believe that it was possible when it's not. This is why it's a contrivance. This is why these people are all involved. This is why all of these teams that know the rules and they know the regulations, because they make their strategy calls in accordance with the rules and regulations of the sport. You look at that top 10, the point scoring positions in that race. Which of them cars pitted to change onto tyres and lost position in doing so? Which ones did that? Which ones did that? Oh, it doesn't matter us losing position, right? Because once we get going again, we'll have the advantage. None of them. None of them did that. In fact, what you did have, you had Daniel Ricciardo, who was in 11th place. So he gambled, he'd got nothing to lose. Daniel Ricciardo was in 11th place, pitted to, let's just gamble. If we do get a restart, well, I've got the fresh tyres to try and take advantage of them. But either way, I'm not losing anything. So he then drops down to 12th, I think. I'll double check this information, right? He drops down a bit. Then Perez retires. Had he not have pitted, had he not have lost track position, he'd have got a world championship point. Everybody else, they were able to pit and not lose track position. And those cars that did pit, well, who was it? The 2 Red Bulls, the 2 Alpha Tauris, the 2 Red Bull B team. You couldn't make it up, could you? And who else? It was then Daniel Ricciardo, it was Lance Stroll, it was, I think, Mick Schumacher, maybe not, outside of the top 10. And you're telling me that these teams don't make the decisions in accordance with the regulations of the sport. They're not looking at data to determine whether or not it's likely to be a racing finish or a safety car finish, and determine whether or not to lose track position. As a result, what's more important? And when we get going again, all the other teams are just going, oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's not in the regulations. There's so much that I'm going to keep churning out. I hope that people can stick with it. Carry on with the support. I truly appreciate it. Nobody can do this on their own. And it's going to take a lot of people making a lot of effort to overturn this, but it can be done and it will be done. And I hope that each and every one of you can help play your part, but with your continued support. Keep hitting the likes, subscribe if you've not already done so, and most importantly, keep sharing the content. Share the content with other people that you see doing this so that we can all link up. Share it on as many platforms as you can. If you've got the skills, make your own platform and expose this information in a better manner than I'm capable of. I've got my limitations. I've got my limitations in terms of technical ability and just personal ability to present. This is what it is, but we just carry on doing our best. Okay, that's all we can do. So once again, thank you, and look out for the next one, because as and when I get the chance, I'll be churning out a lot more. Thank you.